think the thing is with business, and I've seen this a lot with people, is that you can have a good business, but sometimes, as you say, life throws you a lemon. One of the first lemons I had in business was my wife got cancer, and you don't prepare for that. Someone throws this at you. That was a period in my life where I didn't know what to do. I thought she was going to die. I give her a 50% chance of survival, and throat cancer is really quite a bad one because the actual treatment is 10 times worse than the cancer itself, because you're doing radiotherapy on your throat. She can't eat out of her. She has to be fed with a peg in her stomach, and it was horrendous. And that time I didn't know what to do. So there was a lot of emphasis towards looking after her. And that had a knock-on effect at the same time as the financial crisis was coming up. So we had a lot of, some of the deals we bought were wrong. We lost money on them. And so I'm not paying attention to the business because I'm paying attention to my wife at the same time as the market's throwing us a lemon, right? And that caused some serious financial difficulties. And a lot of people don't realise.
Sorry, I'm just trying to think, if someone was in your position at that moment, realizing that your loved one has 50% of leaving, that must automatically create such a race of thoughts, right? Like so many thoughts, right? What was going through your head in that moment?
I had a mantra, because my mum died when I was 3, that nothing can be as bad as losing your mum when you're a 3-year-old, because you only have to look at a 3-year-old and his mum, right, and what their relationship is like, so you can get an idea of what that must have been like. So I always had that mantra. And then when my wife was ill, then I was thinking, this is coming pretty close to it. There's not many things that happen that get the close to that. So the threat to me was like, come on, you've taken her, now you want to take my wife. These are the sort of things that I was going through my mind. I felt very aggrieved, why is this happening to her? But you have to dig down deep sometimes, because all these things got stacked upon themselves. I didn't know how to handle it, but you have to find a way, because she needed my support. That's what she needed. And we'd literally just, when she got cancer, we'd already exchanged contracts on the house we're living in now that was being built. It was built at the time. So we had to complete it, right? So we've got that pressure as well. So all these things together, thinking it's not fair. What am I going to do? And there's a point at which everything changed. And I kicked myself and said, no, we're not going to do that. This is what we're going to do. And you just find the strength. You just have to, because life, I think it was Tony Robbins I went to see once, and he was doing one of his shows, and he said, the quality of your life is in direct proportion to your ability to deal with bad news and adversity. We all get adversities. All of us do, right? All different types of adversities. You get these issues, your ability to deal with them is vital. And I think I'll go on to something else a bit later, but I've got a quote from my daughter who said, if anyone can take a crap situation and turn it into something worth fighting for, that's my dad, because my kids saw me go through these sort of things and come out the other side stronger than I was before.
That's an amazing example that you're setting to children. And, it's something, being mum myself and being parent myself, I've got 2 boys, young boys, it's something that is on my mind. And I think my duty as a parent to teach them how to deal with adversity, not to get good grades at school, not to, whatever, like read and write, forget about all that. Like, you prove an example, right? Like you said, you've got writing of 7 years old at age 35, but it's how you deal with adversity, because that's what ultimately makes your happiness. That's what will influence you taking actions and what type of actions you do take day to day. And for me, if I can teach them that, my job is done as a mum. That's how I think.
She's alive today. If you met her, you would never know.
Wow, okay.
There are signs you can tell, but you would never know off the cuff. I mean, she still suffers from the treatment that she had. It knocked out her saliva glands, and so that's difficult for her to swallow even today. But you'd never know. That was 20 years ago. We get through the financial crisis, come out the other side, and everything's changed. You as a trader, I probably had the best years of my life after the financial crisis of 2008. Interest rates go through the floor. That enables us to buy a lot of properties selling into auction. And then I stumbled across a guy called Simon Zucci, who runs the PIM meetings. And then up to that stage, this was 2010. And I'd done, a good few hundred deals, maybe 400 deals at that stage. And I met him and he's trying to convince me to come to one of his meetings. And I'm going, I didn't know this world of property investors and the buy-to-let world. I was just a trader selling to buy-to-let investors. I just knew they were buying stuff off of me. I didn't know there were sort of places where they networked. And then I met him and he said to me, come along. And then he realized my experience. And then I realized that he had a platform that if I could go and talk at some of his meetings and describe what I did, that we could then probably get deals from some of them meetings. And that's the only reason why I started going. I'll be quite frank with you. And I realized that there was another business opportunity here, which was train investors. And if they haven't got the money for buying the deals themselves, we'd buy them. Right. So they become our sort of little networkers out there going looking for the deals. So we'd have little partnerships going with people. So I just realized that this was a great opportunity, hence the reason why I did the talks. And then I realized that in order to stamp my authority, I had to write a book. Now, this is a guy, dyslexic, right? Can't read and write properly. I developed coping skills by that stage and how to do. I mean, the great thing about modern technology is, whereas I used to read with a dictionary, today I don't read with a dictionary because I've got spell check or I just look up a word online. So I never get stumped by things nowadays. My reading's a lot better than it used to be and my writing's more than adequate. I decided to write